Yes, I do.
You do some great stuff for veterans. You have some programs that give them good advice and some medical advice, things like that.
Yeah, we have two programs. The first one is Honor Across Arms, which I developed in honor of my parents. I don't think the military stories are ever told as often as they should be because our youth doesn't understand our history. And I felt that by having a show that was dedicated to veterans who could tell their story, it's not about the dirty end of war.
Right.
It's about where did you go? What did you do? Who did you see? Where did you travel? What have you done since the military? I try to keep it on a very positive note.
It's a very human note.
It is extremely human.
Because that's what they all are, men, women, officers, enlisted, whatever
right.
it might be.
And all of our military time was not in battle and in blood, guts, and gore. It was a matter of travel. It was a matter of career learning. There were so many things that the military had to offer a young person who did not have the college degree or the skills in order to maintain a life outside the military. But as a young person going into the military during that particular part in our history especially, they were given skills. They were given their high school diplomas. They were given a future once they came back to being a civilian.
Right. One of the things that I've always been impressed by in my husband's history, because he's also a vet, is that when he decided to go into the Navy, he too went to the Navy, they gave him such a battery of aptitude testing. They really wanted to know, what is your gift? What is it you do well? What is it that you have a natural inclination for and a natural aptitude for? Because obviously if you put a person in the right position that utilizes their gifts and their aptitudes and their inclinations and their skills and their natural desires to use those gifts, you're going to have a great fit. I mean, if you try and put the square peg in the round hole, and you try and take a person who has mathematical aptitude to be an engineer and you try and make them into a scientist. Or
when I look for employees, I look for veterans. I want to find someone who understands discipline, dedication, hard work. And a veteran is so ingrained in that when they get out of the service that they make the best employees because they're never late. They're always early. They have their thinking caps on. They think out of the box. These are people that are trained to be creative in whatever task they take on, and they're very good at it. Now, you mentioned the other shows that we have, Veterans for Cannabis. That is a show run by Joshua Linney and Joshua Littrell. And if you watch your news, you'll be seeing a lot of them. One is running for commissioner, and the other one is in Tallahassee most of the time, fighting for our rights as veterans to use the cannabinoids and be able to have an alternative from the opioids.
Right.
But what we do with Veterans for Cannabis as a show, we talk to real live veterans who have had the PTSD. They've had the Agent Orange. They've had it all in the bad, worst ways. But what they do is they come on and they talk about their success stories with cannabis and how much better they're doing. And this whole conglomerate little company that they've developed is their whole purpose is to keep veterans off opioids and to prevent suicides.
Right.
So they're also connected with the suicide hotline. There's anything that will help our vets get well is what Veterans for Cannabis is all about. It's not just smoking pot like everybody would think.
And most of it isn't even smoking. Most of it is liquids under the tongue. Some of it are oils. Some of it are ointments and lotions. I mean, there's a lot of ways that that's put to use.
Yes, many ways. But those are just two specifics that we have. We also have Valda Boyd Ford, who has a show about mature relationships, and it's called Sex is Not for Sissies.
Oh, that's funny. Yes.
And she has a doctorate, and it's educational, and she does it with tongue-in-cheek humor, and she's wonderful. We also have Andrea Hammer, who built the pack that the Pentagon is now using in their physical training. She is a core fitness expert. And then, of course, we have Miss Colette Darville, who is yin yoga. And we also have the foremost leading authority on Thomas Jefferson, Clay Jenkins, who does the Thomas Jefferson Hour.
There's so many things about Thomas Jefferson people don't know. They might say, why would somebody have a radio program about one of our early presidents? Well, Thomas Jefferson's pretty darn unique. If you haven't heard...
Yeah, he and Ben Franklin were pretty good friends.
Yeah. Very unusual men, both of them.
Clay Jenkins, you will see him on the Learning Channel, the History Channel, PBS, WDU. Anytime there is something about Thomas Jefferson or the history of the time, you will probably see him on television because he is the go-to man for Thomas Jefferson.
Sort of like Moat Marine here in Sarasota is
Right.
sort of the go-to place about sharks and marine life.
And there's so many other wonderful things that we have to offer that the changes just keep coming. We just are in the process of recording a new show on real estate to help educate first-time home buyers, which is something I think we need desperately.
Oh, absolutely.
It should relieve a lot of fears for a lot of people buying their first home, so that's great. We have, oh my goodness, we have the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. They have a show on living well and better health. We have our own monk who does a show called Buddha Ear, and his show has a 12-minute meditation, and then he talks about life as a monk and living your best self.
Right.
There's just so many. There's
That's what I
pet
said.
shows. There's
You have such a broad spectrum, which is
we've
good.
Been,
That's
we've
great.
been really blessed because since I've had the business, we were nominated for finalists for Small Business of the Year this year, which truly was an honor and a pleasure. We didn't get it, but the people who did were just as deserving and just as
excited and humbled by it.
yes,
Right?
absolutely. And because we are a part of the Radio Air Network family, we share in the nomination for an Emmy this year. We did not win, unfortunately, but
Being nominated is an honor. People think that's
we
a
did
cliche.
produce the show.
Right. It is not a cliche. It is an honor to be nominated out of broad fields of
Yes.
potential selections, to be one of a handful that get nominated for
To know that there were
honors.
over 800 entries, for just the finalists for small business, that makes you feel pretty darn good.
Right.
I may not have got there this year, but I'm not giving up.
Well, there's years ahead.
There's
That's right.
years ahead.
And everything just fine-tunes and hones your skills even better.
Right, and we take the steps a little bit further, too. We don't just bring people in to do radio shows. We coach them. We teach them. We take them by the hand. We show them how to produce a really good podcast so that it's beneficial to them in their business as much as it is to us.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we've developed a reputation, and we want to maintain that high quality of standards all the way across the board.
And the thing that's great about a podcast, too, is it can live forever, and you can share your link in
That is
any which
correct.
way you want with whoever you want from around the world, and they can listen to it anytime, anywhere, any place.
Right.
They have access. So it's a pretty cool format.
It is, and what makes ours even better and a little bit different than someone else is you may go out on your own and have your own podcast. You can do it at home. It's fine. It's easy. But do you have the directories to put it in? Do you have the reach that's going to help promote you? We have all that.
Right.
We edit the shows, we clean the shows, we sign the shows, we send the shows, we load the shows, we promote the shows. We go as far as doing press releases, banners for our hosts. Anything that we can do to help promote them. That's our job. That's what people pay us to do.
That's great. Well, you do it well. I've certainly enjoyed the experience and look forward to continuing it.
Well, and we hope you will.
Well, thank you. It's fun. And for those of you who are listening, look at all the entertainment we talked about. My goodness, my show is called Entertain You, and I hope you've been entertained, because we've certainly talked about a lot of forms of entertainment. From Buddhism to sex for seniors, or whatever the don't have to be a sissy for.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing Daddy always told me. Honey, if you could learn to do something with that mouth, you'd be worth a gold mine.
Well, and you're helping all the rest of us who are chatterboxes find a way to do it in a positive, helpful, enlightening, entertaining kind of way.
It's fun for me because I've always been a big philanthropist at heart with an empty wallet. So this is one way that I can help people.
That's
and I
great.
know that I'm helping them get their word out, and that's important to me too.
Yeah. Well, I've certainly enjoyed it, and I know the people that have been on the show have had fun and felt like they've had a chance to really share something about themselves and their accomplishments in a comfortable, easy, conversational way. But I have to say this to all of you in the sound of my voice. If it weren't for all of you out there listening, none of it would matter. So you have to keep tuning in. And if you have special subjects and special thoughts about what you'd like to hear that you might not be hearing, reach out to Katie O'Neill, this fine Irish lady, and tell her it's Society Bites Radio. What else she could add to her roster, because she's already thinking of lots of stuff on her own. But your ideas are always welcome.
There is a contact page on the website, societybitesradio.com, and that's BYTES. Just go to the contact site, or you can email me direct at programdirector@societybitesradio.com.
BYTES.
BYTES.
Well, Katie, thanks for being with us. It's been fun.
It has been.
Thanks for listening out there, all of you people, and have a wonderful rest of your week, and listen to us again. We'll talk to you again soon. This is Jeannie Corcoran, and Entertain You, saying bye. I want to thank you for listening. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, your Sarasota County, Florida Film Commissioner, and if you want to get a hold of me, you can go to www.filmsarasota.com, or you can call us toll-free from wherever you are at 888-765-5777, extension 104. We're easy to get a hold of. And we like email. You can email us at info@filmsarasota.com, and we check all of our email. If you don't hear back from us right away, it's not that we haven't gotten it, but we might have a computer glitch. I hate to admit it, but it happens a lot. We've had emails that disappear for a month. We've had phone messages that disappear for 2 months, but they show up eventually. So we will get a hold of you. Or you can get a hold of us, ask us questions, and if we can help you, we will. And if we can't, maybe we can steer you in a good direction to somebody who will help you. And that's it for me. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, and you've been listening to Entertain You on the Radio Ear Network, and this is the Society Bites network of programs. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon.